information from their guidance counselors. And guidance counselors are connected through different publications and journals, so we can reach out to them to get in contact with the students and get them the help they need. Schools are connected through school districts, and so we can reach out to the school districts, and many school districts will approve the funding needed to make purchases, so we'd have to reach out to them anyway. Now, as for startup costs, as I mentioned, I have a prototype running already for under $2,000. Now, if I were to actually release this project, I need a little more funding, mostly to cover the cost of additional cloud servers and some money for marketing to actually reach out for scholarships. But I should be able to run a soft launch with under $20,000. Now, the next step in this project is reaching out to small scholarships. Right now, they're not connected in any way, so there's no central way to reach all of them at once, yet. So reaching out to them is going to involve phone calls, emails, a little bit of marketing, and I'm going to have to build this network to get people involved. I'm hoping to have a soft launch available in the 2017 school year. We already have students, schools, and scholarships interested in participating. And that's my presentation. Yes.
How many, did you do sort of projection out, how many years or how long will it take to actually, have the kind of mass that you would need to really add the value? Obviously you're going to pilot, you're going to kind of soft launch, but how far out do you think it would really be the size that you would want it to be?
Absolutely. I would hope within 2 years. Right now, the small scholarships are very disjointed, and so the most time-consuming process is going to be connecting to them. Larger corporations, however, like Coca-Cola, the United Negro College Fund, lots of community foundations are connected through a program called the United Scholarship Provider Association. Now, these major organizations will only get involved if the small scholarships are also interested. So after I've connected with them, I'll be able to connect with several hundred organizations through the National Scholarship Provider Association.
And your costs, I didn't see what the first year, was that first year cost or was that startup cost?
That would have been a first year cost.
First year cost. So can you walk just real quickly through like what the coder and the server costs were that you came up with? Yeah. Like you said $3,500 for a coder, is that for a year?
So the coder, I have somebody in mind. I'm actually working with someone in Florida, a co-founder, but there's a lot of additional stuff that we need to go through that would just take a long time for one person to do. So these, the technology numbers I got from my coder, but he said this would be the cost to hire someone to help us build a help page, frequently asked questions, lots of just minutia. And the cost of servers would be to handle, I believe it was 100,000 students, which is what we'd want to start with.
Okay.
$3,500 is like a week or two of somebody. It's not much time. That's why we're
I think those numbers are backwards a little bit, but yeah. There's a lot of cloud-based services, so
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We're using Microsoft Azure at the moment.
Okay.
Tell me how you thought about sort of bottom up versus top down, right? Like, so, well, there is the United Scholarship, whatever that organization was you mentioned, there's a Common App, right? There's Goliaths in this world of college applications who have access to the hundreds of thousands of students in colleges and that reach. What about a partnership with them versus your approach of kind of the guerrilla, getting to all the small guys one-off?
Right. So the Common Application has a tool similar to this one already called ScholarSnap, but it only works with a few specific scholarships. Right now that's 5 scholarships. So the Common App isn't really interested in working with anyone else. I have reached out to them. And the existing organizations, they're sort of opposed to implementing a new system. The systems I talked about for managing scholarships are massive. They're more than just a scholarship management tool. They're a philanthropy organization tool that manage employees and retirement and salaries, as well as scholarships. So the ability to replace those, it's not really feasible for myself without a major team. And so in order to just work with them, they don't want to have any replacement for their current software, but they're open to having an add-on to the programs they currently have, but that's about as far as they're willing to go.
Great, thank you.
Becca is up next. Oh, God. No, but
Hi, my name is Becca Hebian. I'm a rising sophomore at Bates College in Maine. And thank you for coming here today. My idea is called The Helping Band. So when I was a sophomore in high school, my best friends Amy and Joe were at my house, and we were prepping Amy for her first date with a guy named David. And we were getting her makeup done, and we sent her off and eagerly awaited the details. And about an hour and a half into the date, we received a text from Amy saying she needed help. So naturally, we called her, and she informed us that she had been sexually assaulted by David. Amy has since identified herself as a survivor of sexual assault, and that's something that she, unfortunately, thinks of herself as a core piece of her identity. Sexual assault obviously has not only affected Amy, but a lot of other individuals, especially in American colleges and universities. 23.1% of females and 5.1% of males have experienced rape or sexual assault that has included violence or physical force or incapacitation that are undergrads, and women age 18 to 24 are 3 times more likely to experience sexual assault than the average American woman. To validate that sexual assault is an issue among people our age, my survey actually ranged from 15-year-olds to 91-year-olds. And I had 163 participants. 44.79% said that they regretted having been in a sexual encounter that they weren't able to alert their friends to. And 49% said, conversely, that they regretted not being able to help a friend out in that kind of a situation. So clearly there's an issue here with sexual assault. And if you think about it, what's the first thing that an assailant would remove from his victim? Their cellular device. That's something that someone can use to incriminate them or to alert the police or friends. So I was trying to look at this issue as what is something that an assailant would not think to remove from its victim. And that's where I came up with the helping band. So the helping band is a discrete device, kind of like a Fitbit, that would not call attention to itself in the case of sexual assault. And it would have 3 key components. One is a switch, one is a button, and one is a safety. Firstly, the switch would have 3 options: campus security alert, friends, or the police nearby. There are tons of apps that alert friends right now, but like I said, it's unlikely that you would have your phone available in the case of sexual assault. So for this, it's similar to the switch on iPhone where you can turn off the sound. So it'd be 3-pronged so that you could align it with whichever you would like, and when you press the button, it would alert that party. And if you don't want to be using the device and you don't want it to accidentally go off, there's a safety similar to that of a firearm. So the logistics of this, after talking with people in similar technologies such as Life Alert, they said that there would have to be a GPS chip, a Bluetooth chip, or a cellular data chip. However, Bluetooth is less expensive. An app similar to that of Find My Friends or Circle of 6 that alerts your friends, and a pre-existing band. The reason for pre-existing, 1, people tend to have an invincibility complex where they feel that this wouldn't happen to them, so they won't necessarily buy a separate bracelet for this instance. However, if there's a bracelet that's already marketed to people that's already consumer friendly for different purposes, they're more likely to purchase this band. So my plan of action, firstly, is to protect my intellectual property through licensing, patenting, and that would obviously have costs associated with it. Licensing that I looked up ranged from $5,000 to $15,000. to identify an app developer who can develop the app for me and develop the infrastructure that would require. Thirdly, raise capital. I would first start with family and friends, and then go on to Bates College, and if not them, then parents of students at Bates. And then finally, the pilot study at Bates College. And for the technology roadmap, the first phase would be to use a pre-existing commercial device, and then secondly, develop a custom product and build out that infrastructure, or pitch the device to the brand that owns the device. So as far as professional opinion, I talked to 15 individuals that had varying applications to my device. I talked to people in law enforcement, people in emergency medical care, people at Life Alert, people at Fitbit, people at Tory Burch who just partnered with Fitbit, and asked them about how to make an inconspicuous device that wouldn't call attention to itself. And various people at Green Dot programs, which are sexual assault prevention programs at a lot of the NESCAC schools. Yesterday I talked to someone at Jawbone. Jawbone makes up bands, which are similar to Fitbits, as well as the Jambox device. She said, as a former employee of Jawbone, I could see a promising partnership with the Helping Band. Your innovation's extraordinary commitment to making the world a safer place, combined with Jawbone's mission of making the world healthier, could bring healthy people and healthy causes together by partnering with the Up Band. And further into that, I talked with a MiddCORE mentor yesterday who said that he is part of the AT&T Foundry, which promotes innovations and new ideas in technology. And he said that that's something that he thinks they might be interested in. So that kind of helps solve the funding issue. Back to my survey, these are some responses in the comments section. 40.66% of survey participants said that they would purchase this for multiple of the options that I put forth, such as spouses, friends, themselves, children, things like that. And overall, 81.6% of survey participants said they would purchase. This is my list of advisors. I just want to conclude with, ultimately, I think that this device should exist because no one should be made to feel like Amy felt and identify for the rest of their lives as either a victim or even a survivor. Thank you.